upon us. Every day there are more and more people that are looking at it at our website. You know, they're attending our webinars, rather our webinars. So we want to look professional. We want to look good to the world. So basically, these are the rules. When you're in a webinar, you know, you see your name, right? Look at the participant list or look straight ahead at the main screen. You're going to see yourself. Your name is there. You're going to see it should be first name, last name, and country. And if it isn't, what we ask you to do is click on your name. You're going to see more and you're going to see rename, and you rename yourselves to make it appropriate. First name, last name, and country. That is all that we want to see, nothing more than that. For example, Jane Smith, USA. We want you to use a professional background. If you don't have a professional looking background, simply blur your background. Or if you cannot do either, then just keep your video off. It's not a requirement to have your video on. If you notice that your panel flickers, so when you look at yourself, the background is flickering, what we're going to do is turn your video off. We do this because this flickering can cause reactions in people. You know, it can cause epileptic seizures, migraine headaches, anxiety, etc. So don't be offended if we turn your video off for that reason. Webinars are business meetings, so we want to dress accordingly. So we ask that you not have beachwear, pajamas, or any other casual attire on. Just dress appropriately. We ask that you sit up while your video is on. Do not lie down and don't sit in bed. We ask you to use polite language and always be respectful. If you need to do things like eat, drink, smoke cigarettes, go to the restroom, or move to another room, anything like that, just shut off your video. And when you're done, you can turn your video back on. And again, having your video on is certainly not a requirement. It is optional to do. That is it. And just as an additional thing, for this particular webinar, what we choose to do is we do a mute of everyone. We do this because we have a lot of background noise. People unintentionally will get unmuted, and then you have the background noise bleeding into the webinar. So we simply mute everyone, and when you want to speak, you will raise your hand, and then we will ask you to unmute, and then you will unmute. This seems to be the most practical way, especially since we get hundreds of attendees on this webinar. It's really difficult to monitor everyone and mute people constantly. So this is just a practical thing that we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Lynn. Is Red Ruffin in the house?
Red is having
not here yet.
Red is having internet issues, Jocelyn, today.
Okay. Then we move to. Okay, we'll move to our IT brothers. No. Brother Collins,
can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, because we can't hear what you say.
Maybe he needs to be made a.
All right. Okay. Okay, Sister Grace, can you make him a co-host? Oh, that's why he can't unmute himself. Okay, so we will hand it over to our. Oh,
so just want to add just little adjustment.
Yeah.
Will play Ashes. You know the site Ashes spoke about data center.
Okay.
Domain. Sorry, we'll have it for 20 minutes, and then the others can chip in. The tech guys will come in because there is no update. So we just choose to modify it a little bit.
Okay. All right. Brother Andy, Red is not in the house, so we move to.
Lynn will play it.
Okay. All right. Auntie Lynn, I'll hand over to you then.
All right. Give me 1 second. Okay, does everybody see the screen?
Yes, we can.
All righty. Here we go. going to play. It's about 27 minutes. It starts with Marty DeGarmo giving a short introduction, and then we go into Ash Mufareh. Ash Mufareh visited Friday Night Live this past Friday, a couple days ago, and he talked about domain names, domain name registry, etc. So it's about 27 minutes total. So let's listen to this, and then we'll have a time for us to discuss it and ask questions.
Ron and Lynn's Friday Night Live. He talks about the power of domains, owning a registrar, and potentially millions and millions of domains. It's mind-blowing. And the power of that alone as a product, domains as a product, is out of this world. It really is. And the more we all learn, the more we go, I can't believe we're part of this. And that's one product. And what a domain is, you buy a domain like martydegarmo.com if it's available, and I redirect my website to that. So take 51, link 51. The link is horrible. It's real long. It's got all these different numbers and stuff, which means it's coded to me. But that's not what you want to send people. You want to send them martydegarmo.com or whatever short domain name that you pick. You redirect it to that site. It looks nicer, more professional. And what's happening? I am building my brand. And all of us are going to be doing that. Why? When you pick a domain, Ask is driving traffic, building your business, adding more products weekly, monthly, yearly. So it's getting bigger and stronger, more value, more times it's seen online, more visitors. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's mind-blowing. And what will happen when it's time, you'll be asked to pick a domain name. You pick it. If it's available, you can have it. If it's not, the system will suggest other domains. The company does not pick domains for you. How can it do that? It's better you do your own. Keep it simple, keep it short. Something people might remember. Like I picked coolzone.ai. I already got it. I'll transfer it over to ODomain later because I thought it'd be cool. Is .ai real popular? No, let's face it, the most popular is .com. But I'm looking down the road and I think AI will be very popular in a few years. My opinion. So that's what I picked. Anyway, here's the one and only Mr. Ash Mufareh. And he's going to explain. He's very excited. He came in very briefly because it's a real hot topic for him. And he sees the potential and trying to get us to understand the magnitude of owning a domain registrar and, like I said, potential domains, millions of domains. Anyway, here's Mr. Ash Mufareh.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
I hope you can hear me fine. Yes?
Yes, we hear you loudly and
Perfect.
clearly.
Well, thank you so much. All right, Lynn, thank you. Thank you, Ron, and everyone, all those who spoke ahead of me. And I appreciate your topic and picking up something of my interest, indeed. So you're keeping up the momentum. I do like this session, though the timing might be inconvenient for some of us. However, it is quite essential for educational purposes. So thank you for all those tech pros that we have. We're delighted. Appreciate my master, Marty DeGarmo, for coordinating this and connecting the messages in between. I couldn't help but jumping in. I was trying to listen in between. I heard a few minutes here and there. It is a vast topic. We can never finish it in one session. Domain name, we can build a whole business, a lifetime just around this one item on our arsenal. So don't expect me to cover a lot of details or anything. I probably just have one punchline. I appreciate your questions, Judy. I just heard that when I came in. One side of it, I would like to say, not to get carried out with the details and the mechanics so early on. That's not what makes us or what dictates our success. We want to focus on the scope, the big picture, the vision, the outline, the path that we're headed on, and why we chose the domain name to be the very first item. Okay, so we start with Catmo, but even before Catmo, the appetizers, as you see, they're essential. Before you even start with that completion, okay, one essential thing is we chose intentionally. You can go nowhere in the business unless or until you pick that domain name. Okay, so Ron Halbert, you open a business, brick and mortar, okay, anything you open, what's the first question I'm going to ask you? Where is it?
You have a website?
Yeah, where is it? Or
Location.
even if it's not a website, okay?
Right.
Cupcake shop, where is it?
Where are you located?
Okay.
Yep.
Location, all right. And if it's online, or if you're doing some digital business, or I'm going to say, oh, how can I find you? How can I follow you? Okay. So that is critical. So it's location, location, location. That's a punchline for the real estate. However, if you see a business that is promising you're going to be your own business distributor or self-employed, okay, just as we see, I agree with you, Judy, to really depart from that concept of MLM and all that. Not that the concept theoretically is bad, but unfortunately, we haven't seen a good model so far. All right. So we purposely chose to fade away from that concept. And if you see a company that is promising you freedom, financial freedom, or to have your own business, yet you only have one domain, you name anyone, okay? No matter how giant is that domain name. And that is the only domain name we use, all of us, and we just get a replicated website. That is a misleading statement. You can never be independent in business unless you have your independent identity, your independent location, all right? So everything is online, everything is digital, and you not to have your own location is just a myth and a misconception and a waste, a big waste of your time and my time and everybody's time, thinking we're going to get somewhere if we are totally in the wrong direction. If I want to open my own business, okay, the only way I would start, whether brick and mortar or the virtual sort of it's all about timing and that physical location. If you have everything hoped for in any business model and you don't have the right location, if you don't have the right timing for it, it's not going to go anywhere. So if I decide to open any business, any type of business, the first critical thing, where do we do it? Now in OnPassive, everything we do is strategic, whether, why do we do the IT hub we begin in India? Why do we do the licensing and the identity of the company in America? Why do we do, the branding and scaling and the redundancy of future other products from the Middle East and Dubai? Okay, why do everything is about where is your location? So it is location, location, location. You cannot fail. All right. Now, how I know that OnPassive is a very different, unique, genuine company, because it treats your business as truly and truthfully an independent identity and your own digital property. You've got to have that property. You can go nowhere if you don't have your property, your land. If you don't reserve that land online, you go nowhere. So let's go. How many accounts Facebook has? I have to bring up like an identity so we can clarify for illustration reasons. I'm not bashing anybody or bashing or anyone. Just look, 2+ billion accounts. The fact is, it's one location, it's one bucket, it's one domain name, it's one digital property. You have no ownership of that. That's how we trust OnPassive. That's why it's different. It gives you your own space, your own property before we talk. And the value of it, of course, is it on the commission bucket? Of course, anything sold through that OnPassive empire, for allow me to throw this word, okay? Anything thrown in there, it is commissionable. There's a sales where there's a sales, there's a commission. Somebody's going to make that commission. So that's one. But what's good about the compounded value, as we talk about compounded marketing, there is also compounded value in everything we do. In real estate, if you want to have a property, it's also the future of it, the market is, everything is going to affect it. Going to either appreciate or depreciate. If you have a replicated generic website with any other company that gives you your own / blah, 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 okay, if it gives you that, the more people come to it, the more oversaturated it will become. It will decrease the value. The first day is the hottest day, and every day ever after is lower, lower, lower in value. Quite the opposite from OnPassive. Quite the opposite, okay? You come day one, it's got humble value, see you, and there. Now here's what's gonna happen. Sending traffic to that location is gonna start compounding that value. There's some sense of market being established and authority on that. And then day two, there is another website is developed, okay? The content is, there are more products are added to it. The product value goes up. It's the only domain name you wanna host with because it's the only time that, aside from the AI aspect, aside from the, hands-free, it's all done for you, and the value and the affordability, aside of all that a whole topic on its own. Aside from all of that, okay, but we also, increase in value on that domain name, linnakamoto.com. Day one, it has one website and let's say 20 products, okay. Day 300, it has 25 products. Those products have gone higher in value, and so many other domain names. Every day, more visitors, more traction on that website. Every day the value goes up. Every day, the only business I would host my domain name with, not only for the security, that's a different technical thing. I invite you to do that because we also provide SSL, okay, security socket layer, okay. So that comes certified. Every domain name with OnPassive is certified automatically. Number one. The hosting, the security of it, okay. Number two, it's instantly live. A domain name is sort of like the shell, okay, but it's dead if you don't have hosting. Hosting is what brings it up live to the World Wide Web. Instantly, your domain name is live. Before you even scratch your head, it's already live automatically on your own domain. That's also a unique value. Before you start figuring out which host, which package with that host, do I go cloud, do I go Linux, do I go Windows, do I go this, do I go that? By the time you figure this out, you have aged, okay? That's traditional, old, outdated business models, not OnPassive. By the time you click go, you're live, World Wide Web, with that identity. It's safe, secure, and live at a speed, cloud, unlimited, with so many products packed on it. And now the value starts compounding every day, it appreciates. So that real estate property, okay, digital real estate property you have, it will automatically increase. It will automatically increase, okay? And the more visitors, the more value, the more traffic to the overall community of us, okay, it will definitely be more attractive and more appealing to them. Now, we can have fun and become more creative. What can we do, and what we, the question would be easier, like what we cannot do, what can't be done. When you are the host, your own data center is just beyond genius. We have to come up with a new word, okay? It's beyond genius is maybe typical, okay? It's beyond genius that you give every individual, your customer, you make them the hero. You give them the domain identity on the spot, immediately, instantly. Instantly, that domain name is live, not blank page coming soon, or a trace, pay setter or whatever. It's live with a rich content, with some valuable information, a lot of data, so many. Your OBLESS is going to be there, your Academy, your OConnect, your OMail, everything is going to be there on that domain name instantly, in a blink. It never happened. I doubt somebody would even dare to go that hassle, that direction. So we want to focus on the long term, on the vision. Now, how do we do it? What do we choose? All of that. That's the fun part. Okay. So don't like really occupy your brain with the pity things. All right. That's for the fun. Okay, I want your brain to be for the big picture, for the big value that we have, for the big vision that we have. It is beyond genius. So you see genius, this level here, this is way, way, way levels, miles high, okay, beyond genius. Why? Because you have the domain, you give it to your people, they're the heroes, okay? Any customer is a hero. It's hosted as live. So many web pages are on it. On your own linnakamoto.com. Day one, second one, and tomorrow more, and the day after more, and the day after more. Whatever we build and create, it's more on it. And all the social activities, and whether it's with OBLESS, whether with Academy, whether with all of that, is compounded. It's compounded. All the ONET activities is compounded. This is, you're like commanding, okay, authority instantly. You come in with Len Nakamoto. Nobody knows that individual. Forgive me for using that name, but just assume so. Nobody, or maybe a network of 20 people, okay, know that name, relative, but like online, it's like nothing. It's not even a dot. It's invisible on that massive World Wide Web. But when you come in and mesh in, okay, like blend in those many products that are linked to OConnect and ONET and this and that, okay, you are immediately connected. You're coming in with an authority immediately. That's massive value. Now, so why is beyond genius? I tell you what, okay, if we stop at the door, the gates of OnPassive, you come in, you get a domain name, it's hosted, you already have a website every day, we can create wealth for millions from that one item. Everlasting, right there if we stop. But what happens after that is that what blows my mind. I wonder who created that concept. Now, must be a genius. So you give that a domain name is live. It's hosted database. We control the database and we control the hosting. We override a different content on it, and you have limitless, okay, you know, tools if you want to create your own with OCreate, if you want to create OMart or OCapture or this or that, whatever you want to create on it is like limitless, okay? Endless of products and pages you can create. But what's provided by default by the company is already enormous. Now, you get that instantly, and even if it was a gigantic company, they get faced with the challenge. I have to say this, having a theoretical plan is something, but unless you have practiced what you preach, is something totally different. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is a lot of people have ambitions in business and all of that, and everybody has a plan. Boxer Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. You can dream, you can wish, you can aspire as much as you want, but unless you go to reality, and that punch in the face in business is traffic. You can create whatever you want, but if nobody goes to that website, you are dead alive. This is where the insanity kicks off. Not only is connected with the world instantly, but also we start sending every day. We send people to it. See how action is piled up? And now the fact that you have your own data center, the fact that you control the hosting, okay, we're not restrained by any other peer in any way. The fact that you can monetize this traffic. You see how we become the hunted? Well, we're not ambitious, that's it. We stall now. Okay, 1.3 million domain names. How many of you bought a solo ad with subscribers of 2 or 5 or 10,000 subscribers? We have 1.3 million buyers. That's if we're up to now. So the authority of it, and like if you're able to add that, I don't want to call it AdSense, but your publication, okay, or publishing components. Okay, let's say we're going to advertise. So let's say a publisher come to us and make a deal. All right, they're selling something, an item of any price. Okay, if you promote for us, I don't have 200 subscribers. I don't have 3,000. We have millions, obviously. If you promote, if you drive traffic to our offer, we give you this much. You know what? If it's 2 cents, if it's 2 dimes, you're not doing anything. Just put a banner or something on your websites to be monetized. Whatever happens, it's not your problem. You're not involved in anything. It's just allow or don't allow. You want more money? You want to monetize? Just allow us. And we, if you're with the group that is allowing us to publish advertisement on them, is that a passive, permanent, reliable, residual income or what? Speaking of genius. Okay. So let me stop right here before I get yelled at, okay? I just couldn't help that we are up to something is gonna flip the planet upside down, and it's sizzling, all right? So buckle up. It is only gonna get more interesting. The more you know, the more I break it down for you. But make no mistake, if you think this is magical, you are damn right, okay? It is magical. If you think this is a no-brainer, yes, you are right. If you're thinking this is insane, you're right. Whatever you think it is, okay? My thought, it's OnPassive. It just, the only company that it will do it genuinely as I'm doing my own business. I want to build I'm not going to spend my life to build a 6, 7-figure income. If I want to build an 8-figure, say multiple 7-figure or 9 figures, okay, 8 figures. Okay, if I want to build that type of income, I would be insane not to consider having my domain name. Do you think it's possible? How? How? How could you survive? So if you have any offer that they give you slash so and so, you are nothing but a user. You are nothing but the product of that company. But when you come to us, immediately, you have to give us your trust. You have, or we wouldn't trust you. If you, we're not telling you you're going to promote OnPassive. We're not telling you you have to send so and so for you to qualify to so and so. No, you come in, just say I want to be in. We give you your identity, and we start working on your business on your own, multiple 6-figure, 7, 8 figures income on passive air. Immediately, as it's our own business, and we send visitors to it. We don't tell you you have to send all that. So it's insane, I'm telling you. So I don't mind you calling me insane. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is an insane topic. I love it. We can build it. I'm not gonna have time for the statistics and mechanics and all of that. I just want you to walk away today with all the incredible information. I know I'm going to listen to the entire session, the recorded one, but whatever has been said and will be said after this, I appreciate it. These are intelligent engineers, no joke. I wouldn't suggest, I wouldn't come unless I do have full faith and confidence in what they know, and you can leave it in their hands. But aside from that, my little input here, I just wanted to come in and say, focus on the big picture, on zoom out, okay? Long term is never gonna, like never was a deal like this. That alone, those who understand business, when I see a company doesn't give me a replicated generic website and they don't ask me to send traffic to it, I will say, you know what? I trust you. If you tell me jump from a cliff, I will do it. Blindly. Because that concept alone, if you know the mechanics of business, only a company that really means your success.
Wow. Beautiful.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Are you done, Auntie Lane? Okay, beautiful. Thank you everyone for listening to our CEO. We will hand over to our tech team to throw more light on our old domain. So tech team.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank everybody to be here today. Since we've got the words or the video from our CEO, that's what happened on Friday when we were out. So we do understand that we have some questions, and then we talk, 4 of us to talk again, then come to the Q&A about that. We'll let hand it over to Sister Comfort to go ahead with her questions. Then maybe the question, the Q&A type is going to make us to understand more. Thank you.
That's fine. Is Red Reference in the house? If he's still not here, then I'll hand over to Sister Fumi and Sister Comfort to take us through our Q&A. Sisters.
I don't see him in the house. Yeah, he's not in the house.
He's not in the house. Okay.
No, Red's not. If you're still asking about Red.
Okay. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, sis. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Jocelyn.
He contacted me earlier and said he had webinar issues and he might not make it. So back to you, Sister Comfort.
All right, thank you. Once again, fellow founders, you are very welcome to Heroes. We're always happy when you join us. And of course, after listening to the replay of what the CEO said, all we can say was like, wow. I said, wow, and I saw Andy say, wow. And I think a couple of people said that too. So if we are all wowed and we know what is waiting for us, we have an idea, even though we can't tell exactly what, then know that me in particular, I'm speaking to you all the way from the top. However, I'm sitting now talking from the UK. I am Comfort Confor. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining. And we have to remember that everything we have been doing during the last couple of, like the previous week and the week that just ended, was in honor of the CEO's request that we should get this education because it is very vital for us. We are going to something huge that's going to accompany us throughout our life. And you need to know exactly what you are going in for. So this is just an advice for people to listen with keen attention, to learn, and learn, because that is your new life. That is my new life, of course. So guys, this is a public webinar. So we advise all founders, please, if you have any support question, keep them, and then see you tomorrow during the roundtable, tomorrow Monday, where our great leaders are very happy to answer any kind of question pertaining to anything back office. But today, we shall be looking at nothing else but O domain. And I just want to use this opportunity, guys. It's not a speech making thing, but I can't go without saying this, that Auntie Lynn and the OTech pros and bros, you have been wonderful throughout the whole week. Thank you for the great job. You have been consistent and you have delivered just like Mr. Ash Mufareh would do. Thank you so much. So everything you did was not going unnoticed, right? So instead of training them, we've heard. So we have a list of follow-up questions. So please, if there is any hand up, you are just asking a follow-up question to, if you want to understand more. Maybe they said something and you did not understand. We are discussing O domain today. So if I believe that the two questions that we see now on the screen about O domain, then I'll really definitely ask you to unmute. So let's hear from our brother or sister, Faith Moses. I'm asking you now to unmute, please. Kindly unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, sis.
Good evening. Please, I want to ask, as long as I've been on the meeting, pertaining to the old staff, is there any video to activate it yet? Because the other day I asked the question, they said I should wait after the launching, but I don't really know if there is any video to activate it because I have more than one account. So they told me that if I want to activate one, I have to have new phone numbers. So I don't know if I have to have maybe 10 new numbers before I can activate my 10 accounts.
Okay. Does somebody want to help with this really quick, please? Did anybody understand? And do you want to help really quick, straight to the point, and that would be thank you.
Let me just take that. You know, OStaff is a product because you're talking about OStaff, the human resource software. I don't think you have to activate anything there. The only thing, if you have a business, you select, you fill the form, then you will wait for a couple of minutes and they will give you the access to that product and whatever you want to use. But there is just for testing purposes. What we have there is a cut down that's just for testing. So you don't need to do anything. So when you talk about activation, there is no activation in OStaff. It's just filled it, go in, fill the form. And when they grant you the access, then you'll see a display where you can click and then see what is in there. Same like ODEX. So there is no activation. And when you talk about 10 account, all of that is nothing to do with OStaff.
All right, thank you. Are you happy with that answer, Faith? I've just asked you to unmute.
Okay, no, because when according to what he said, that if you if you have any business, because the very first day I wanted to do it, they asked me for a phone number to put any phone number.
All right, Faith, do us a favor. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Please do well to attend the founders, the roundtable tomorrow. This question will be answered to your full satisfaction. Thank you, darling.
Okay, thank you
so much. Yeah. So I would like to know from my brother Ibrahim Said, is your question pertaining to all domain, please? Because that is what we're trying to take down today.
Yes, please.
Thank you. You're welcome, bro.
Yeah, please. I just want to make some clarification. The old domain, are they saying that in future they are going to give us the option to create the domain name attached to it, or is the same OnPassive that is going to be the domain name that we are going to be using, or they are going to give us the option to use some short name attached to the domain name? Please, that's a clarification that I want. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, bro, Tony, you're welcome, bro. Go ahead.
Hi, Abraham. No, we're not. Remember, we're not promoting OnPassive.
Okay.
OnPassive is going to be promoting us. So when we go into hard launch, you will have the option to choose your own domain name, whatever domain name you imagine in your mind. That happens. Keep OnPassive out of it. OnPassive has its own domain name.
Okay.
OnPassive is going to be promoting you, me, and everybody else. So you come up with a domain name. If that domain name is available, then OnPassive is going to be promoting that domain name for you and make you look like you're the professional. And they're selling the proprietary products that we have that OnPassive is creating under your domain name with your website that's going to be changing 24/7, 365 days a year. So you're going to have a new website every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, Abraham, what we have is we have our own online store in effect.
Yeah.
So our own domain names. Okay. The websites are created for us with all of the various products that OnPassive has right now, and will add. And as Ash has said, each position that we have is a separate entity, our own location, our own real estate.
Okay.
Yeah? So once we've registered this domain name and we've got this storefront set up, OnPassive add all of the bits and pieces within that store and then start promoting our store, if you like, to everyone across the globe.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the important thing to remember, and I've been getting this question a lot. I even founders have been in for quite a while. We're not promoting OnPassive. OnPassive is promoting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Are you
Thank
happy,
you.
bro?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Thank you. So let's hear from Susan Hodges. Susan, I've just asked you to unmute, please.
Hey, I'm at work, so I'm not taking off my video, but I just had a quick question. My understanding is we have a different domain name for each account. And what if you wanted to split your account for like a personal business and OnPassive? That was what I was wondering.
No problem. We've said this before. When you've got your own account, if you have one specifically that you want to promote your business and one and also be able to promote OnPassive, my suggestion would be to get another position, but you can split the two. So you can OnPassive will help using the AI technology to help you set up your website, or if you already have a business website, you can host it through OnPassive. OnPassive, you can also set up your OnPassive website, and you can share the traffic out to the two. As I said, it would be a good suggestion to actually have a separate account for your business under your OnPassive account, if that makes sense.
I understand. I understand that. I understand all about it. I was just wondering, you can only have one domain name per account though, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
If you're already hosting a business on a website, then you can link that to your account as well if you wanted to. I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah, I understand that. I was just trying to set things up for future things. And I don't have one already. I was just thinking future. Before I set it up, it's easier to know ahead of time than try to change things later.
But let's remember one thing, Susan, and this goes for everybody, is that when we, I wouldn't suggest sharing the traffic because what that does is it makes your automated account move a little slower. You want to get as much.
But I do have multiple accounts.
Okay, so you can put your business in one of those multiple accounts, yeah.
Right, and I could always, if I didn't want all the traffic going to my personal business, I could still split it. Is what I'm.
Absolutely, yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's what I needed to know. I thank you so much. Thanks, Tony. Right. Everybody have a wonderful day.
You're welcome, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thanks for coming, Susan. So let's hear from Okelemuel. You are unmuted, please. Okelemuel.
Hello. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. We have a problem with signing people. When they sign up, they are able to sign up, but they can't pay.
Okay. Okelemuel, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you, sis, for joining. But today we just want to discuss all domain. Anything about signing up on any other thing, let's meet tomorrow during the roundtable on Monday, and our great leaders are ready to explain and answer every question. Is that all right?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, sis. Thanks. But stay here, and then there's a lot to get from all domain. This is important. Thank you.
Comfort, may I just interject? You know, we are getting a lot of attendees coming in constantly every minute. So might I suggest that you preface your question to the person with the raised hand, ensuring that they're going to talk about the topic at hand? I would screen each one before they speak, because we have a lot of new people coming in who don't hear what the topic is. Thank you.
All right, thank you too. Thank you. Yes, so like she says, yeah, we are only discussing all domain today, and even questions that we will read from the chat section will only be those that are pertaining to all domain. So let's hear from our sister Juanita Ali. I've just asked you to unmute, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
I just have a question about hosting. Can anyone break down what that actually means? Does that mean our domain names will be hosted on the data in the data center? I'm not too sure if someone can explain it to me.
One of the tech guys to answer that.
Yeah.
Yes. Tech pros and bros, I leave this open for whoever is ready.
You can take it.
All right.
Yeah, the old domain will be hosted in on our prem, on our multi-cloud data center. Yes, and that is where we have that advantage that we're going to have control over our data and our domain account, because everybody that is going to come under that domain account, or the customers, or the users, or the domain names that will be coming under that domain account, everything will be hosted in our data center. The answer is yes.
So, Oliver, I just wanted to reiterate this. I'm sorry, not the data center, but the hosting. The hosting is like a large library. Am I right? It's a digital library.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget, Ash has said that the moment you register the domain name, a website goes live.
Yeah.
So if you register a website with someone like GoDaddy, for instance, you have to build that website. These are done for you. So yes, everything is hosted automatically. And he also mentioned in that speech earlier on that because the hosting is done by us, everything is instant. So register the domain name, the website is instantly up and hosted by us. Now it gives us security above everything else, first and foremost. So it's very, very, very hard to hack. Yeah. You're not going to get the fraud situations and everything else. There's a lot of little sales bits with regard to domain names and what we would be able to use or how we would be able to use them. For instance, your domain name, you can also, it's a great way to share content on social media. You can use the domain name and use OTrim and get a shortened URL to redirect traffic from Twitter or YouTube or Facebook to your website pages. So the little things like this, it's all building up, building up, building up. It's lovely.
Yeah, let me just.
Okay, thank you.
I know people get confused when you talk about domain name and hosting. Domain is like a house. So your website resides on the domain. So you look at it this way, you have the domain and you have the website. So the domain gives access to your website. So it makes your website to have contact with the internet space. You know, so there is a connection between a domain. So you can have the best website, but if you don't host it on a domain, you will never have access to the internet space. So every website is hosted on a domain for you to be able to have access to that internet space. And that's why it comes with the domain name, shorter, where you can say collins.com, this.com, that's a brand. So Mr. Ashufai is branding us, branding whatever business you are doing. So they build the website for you, they build the domain for you, they take your website and host it on that domain. So you can have that access now to the web wide page.
Okay, let me add a little bit, Brother Collins. So what people need, like you said now, I will add a bit to what you said. Everything is okay. It's correct as well. So what people need to understand that the domain helps to identify your website. So when you have your website, is the domain who help you to identify your website. This is the first thing you need to understand. And then the domain allow a customer to remember your website. That's the domain, the role of the domain. So the domain also, what people need, the third thing I would say also people need to understand is a unique address used to access a website, because your domain is like IP address. When you type like 120.24.4.5, it's difficult to remember. That's why we register that in a domain name, because the domain name uses the DNS to map your IP address. So this is what people, because I don't want to go too technically, people will not understand. But what people need to understand that the domain help to identify your website. That's what people need to get in their mind. Thank you.
I just wanted to throw something in here.
One more thing, Tony, before you tell, I forget. Just think about location, 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 location. You have a store, if there's no location, nobody will see you. When you have a store, the first thing people want to, where are you located? Where are you located? It's the same with business online. Where is your location? So the domain gives that location. It points to that place. And when, for instance, Sister Comfort want to know where I am, I have to give Sister Comfort my location. My location is what? Maybe cmanner.com. And Sister Comfort will go to internet or search engine and search me and then see me. So domain gives location. It's about location, locate, to point where you are. So that's why
I just want to add to that, Collins. Juanita was asking the question of how hosting works. Hosting is like a large digital library. It's where all your information is stored, along with your domain name and everything else.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Thank
to
you. Thank you very much.
For me,
thank you.
Can I say something?
Yep.
I was going to say that, as a layperson, so what happens if I may have a most beautiful website that I've created, but if I don't have it hosted, my domain is not hosted, nobody's ever going to see my website, right? It's going to exist, but it's not going to be on the internet. And if you're not on the internet, why do you have a website in the first place? So that's my logic when I think of why you need to have hosting. Otherwise, your website is a waste of money and effort and time because nobody will see it. That's how I look at it as a layperson.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Lynn. Guys, one thing I love is when lay people, I'm not saying lay like running someone down, like Auntie Lynn, she's a lay person because she's not IT tech person. But then from her own word and her own perspective, it makes it even easier for others to understand. So that was explanation for dummies I got it even much better. Thank you so much. Thank
One
you.
more thing to add to
The
that.
domain gives you visibility online. So it makes you
All
visible
right.
so people can find you.
Thing to add to that, OnPassive is going to be hosting your domain name. It's going to be doing everything for you. OnPassive will do everything for you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks. I think my sister Joanita is very happy with these responses, and any other person who is here must have benefited a lot from it. Am I right, sis?
Yes, I'm very happy. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for always being there. So I can't find any hand. Oh, of course. My sis is right here. Sister Gla, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sister.
Is it a contribution or a question?
It's just a contribution to what Sister Juanita asked, and Brother Tony almost preempted me. As Sister Juanita, I just want you to know that the beauty with OnPassive is what the OTEC pros and Brother Tony and Lynn have tried to explain, is that we are happy that we are in OnPassive. They are trying to help us understand what our CEO is doing on our behalf. That once we become founders, you get a website. And once you have that website, he and his team will put all the products that OnPassive has on your website. He and the team will advertise for you. They will sell for you. So we don't have to worry. It's just that we understand the process that is going on, behind the closed doors. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thanks so much, Sister Gladys, for that wonderful contribution. While we're waiting for more hands to come up, okay, let me just, yes, please.
There's one question in the chat box.
All right.
It says, I have only one account and cannot afford another OnPassive account for my other business. How can I do business with just one account?
You can add your business to your automated account. Your automated account will be the OnPassive account. And if you have another business, you can add that business to that to your account, and you'll just split the traffic. But I wouldn't advise that, because OnPassive is the best thing out there. There's nothing compared to OnPassive. I don't care what business you're in. OnPassive is going to do a lot better than any business out there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I get as much traffic to my website, to my business, my OnPassive business. I will not add another business to it. But if you want to add another business to it, you can do that, and you can just split the traffic. Thank you.
Can I make a suggestion as well?
Yes.
Sorry. One thing that we do know is we're going to get an awful lot of traffic coming through, and we're put into a rotator. So we're going to get people coming in, coming on board, and as we do so, the money in the wallet will grow. My suggestion would be to plow back for the moment, plow back the money that you have receiving from the OnPassive business and concentrate on that. Your business is up and running at the moment, but give the OnPassive business, say, 3 months, plow back the money and buy extra traffic. With that, you can then buy an alternative reseller position for your business once we've gone live. But your OnPassive business has now started, and it won't stop. It'll continue to grow. Yeah, it'll continue to grow ad infinitum without you having to do anything. But if you concentrate in the first 3 or 6 months and plow back whatever money you're getting coming in to buy extra traffic, you're just increasing your business with the OnPassive business. But you'll also have money then to spend on a reseller position for your business, if that's what you wanted to do. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great contribution there, Andy. Much appreciated. So while we're waiting, Sis, do you have any other questions on the chat?
Not at the moment, please.
All right. Thank you. I think I can always get something.
But I have a suggested question, which came up in the Papua New Guinea webinar at midnight. We just had it at midnight. And I thought it was a question that many people could benefit from. The person asked, what is the difference between a website, a URL, and a domain? And I think those are questions that I had personally. So I would like one of the tech guys to explain the difference between those 3 things. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sis.
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
It was the talk about these three different things and how they're different: website, domain, and URL.
I can answer that question.
All right, go ahead, bro.
A URL is a big, long, ugly looking link. Okay, we've all seen it before. A domain name is more like for example, TonyMonk.com. It's cleaner. It looks cleaner. It's not long and ugly. And a website is where all the products and services are going to be put in, along with SEO, which is the search engine optimization that will have the keywords to bring you up to the top of the search engines. So your website is like your digital real estate. It's your digital real estate. So again, a URL is an ugly long link that looks like a bunch of codes, and we've all seen it before. If you go to your back office and you look at link 51, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a big, long, ugly link. So now you can point that link to a .com. I can point that link to a TonyMonk.com if it's available on GoDaddy, for example, and I buy that link. I can just transfer that ugly looking link 51 to TonyMonk.com. It looks a lot cleaner. And again, a website is where you have all your products and services. It's your digital real estate. I hope that answers the question.
And then there's a difference between a website and a domain. So that I think would be good to talk about.
Yeah, domain is your address. Okay. Is your address. When you have a domain name, for example, TonyMonk.com, if you put that into a search engine like Google, for example, you'll find my website. You'll find my digital real estate.
Vincent coming.
Okay.
Website and a domain. We just talk about website here. Website is being hosted on a domain. So you can have the best website, you build it right, like what we are seeing. Look at this screen we are looking, it's website. It's a web application. So they just build it. But if it's not connected to domain, nobody will see you. So domain gives access to that website to the internet space via IP address, internet protocol. So a website is what you are seeing. When you click, you see, like, for instance, you go to Google. When you look at Google, Google is a website. But that website, if you don't put it on top of a domain, the website is useless.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Comfort. Yeah, I'll break it in a very simple way. So people, also, I know my brother Collins and brother Tony, they said very well, but I'll add a little bit to what they said. So what I would say is that the domain is locate an organization. So if you want to, the domain, like our CEO, those of us who listen to the video today, is the location. It locate an organization or other entity on the internet. So this is the role of your domain. Domain help people to locate you, to see where you are and your location, and then they can go to the, but the website is to access any website, a user need a valid domain name. So you got your website. So before to access your website is like all your information, your page, everything you need to post there, people can read, people can see it. But before to access any website, you need a valid domain name. So this is how, because without a valid domain name, you can access your website. You can build all my brothers here, they also mentioned already, you can build the best website in the world, but if you don't have a domain name, no one can access. So I don't know if people get the difference between them. So it's a big difference. You build your website. Once you finish building your website, everything is okay. It's the same thing like you need to go to driving school, you have your driving license, and then you can buy a car and then you can be on your road. So it's the same system. You need a website first. Once you have your website, and then you register your domain name, and then people can see you on the internet. So this is the three process, similar like having go to driving school, buy a car, and then you go to the roads. It's the same thing. It's a three process. Go to your website, register your domain name, and then you go to the internet. So and then when you're on the internet, you use the URL like my brother Tony explained earlier. So that's how it works.
Thank you so much.
To add to that, Sister Comfort, if you don't mind. I've bought domain names. I'm sure we all have, and I had nothing pointing that domain. I didn't have that domain pointing to anything. So you can actually have a domain name, but if you click on it, it'll show a blank page. There's nothing attached to it. You have to point it to a website and vice versa to actually get the content that you're looking for. But you can actually buy a domain name without pointing it to anything, and all you're going to get is just a blank page with nothing on it. Back to you.
Thank you.
One thing sorry, Comfort. One thing that I realized about the URLs, normally when you go on Google, like you say, the Google's the website, and then you put in a search for something and it comes up with this great long thing along the top. Now link that then through to our OnPassive website, if you like. So if someone is specifically looking for video conferencing, for argument's sake, when you click on the video conferencing section in our website, it'll give you this great long URL. We take that because we've got OTrim. You can take that, trim it to something nice and small, and then use that specifically to target new traffic. You with me?
Thank you so much. I was just smiling because to Brother Tony, the URL is a long, ugly something, and to Andy, it's a long, nice, beautiful something. That's the beauty of diversity. Thank you guys for your great contributions. Love that. Thanks. So let's move to something else. There are two hands up. Sam, is your question pertaining to O domain? And please, you are all very welcome to Heroes. What we're discussing today, our discussion is based only on O domain, the topic that has been hitting the waves throughout the week. So if you have any question pertaining to anything about back office or any support question, please see you tomorrow at the round table. So Sam, you are welcome, please.
Yeah, hello, evening. Can you hear me? Greetings.
5 on 5, bro.
Yeah. It's getting exciting and a little bit confusing too. I want to know what is then the difference between a website address and a domain name. Website address and domain name. What is the difference?
Vincent just explained that. Can you explain it again, Vincent, please?
I'm muted.
Brother Vincent, I'm not trying to interject or stopping you from doing just the right thing, but just go straight to the point and pick just the one important thing he wants to. Hold on a minute. Marty, do you want to answer the question? You're welcome, bro.
Yeah, what did he say again? Comfort, I'm sorry, my kids are making noise. He wants to know what.
It's because sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. It's because I saw your hand up. He was just asking what was the difference between Sam. Can you repeat your question, please?
Difference between website address and domain name.
Oh, okay. If you go in the back office and you look at all the websites that are there, you can copy them and paste them into a browser, and that's your website. The website address is that big long HTTP // something, a bunch of letters, a bunch of symbols. That is the address for that website. That's all it is. It's the address. If you get a domain name, what you're doing is you're cloaking that address. You're just putting a nice suit on the ugly address. So when they see it and they see sam.com, you can have that web address forwarded to sam.com. So that when people see sam.com, instead of seeing that big ugly address, they see sam.com. When they click it, they go to that address. A URL and a web address are the same thing. They're just a big, it's a thing that was dedicated to that website, whatever website. Every website has it, every one of them. But what people do is when people have that, you say, I don't want to send that to people. It's horrible looking. You take it, you say, I'm going to put sam.com on it, and you just forward it to sam.com. So every time people see sam.com, they go to whatever website you want them to go to. You can cloak or cover or rename any website there is with your actual domain name. That's why people do it. But they're all the same. It's just confusing because we're saying URL, and then we say web page, and then we say a web page and URL is the same thing. It's just indicating this is the web page that this goes to. But for people, humans, you want to put on something nice. So you say, okay, I don't like that. I'm going to dress this up, and I'm going to call it Collins.com. That's all. And you can redirect anyone you want. And it just makes it look nicer. That's all.
Yes, a URL will always have a web page on it, but a domain name doesn't have to have anything on it. It can have a blank page unless you point it to that URL or cloak that URL. Then you'll have that same web page.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I think Sam is satisfied, and any other person sitting here should just be nodding like I am doing, because we've had even more than how much we expected. Thank you, Marty, for popping in and just going straight to business. You're welcome again. So let's hear from our sister Rose Mothalbi, all the way from South Africa. Sis, you're welcome.
Sister Comfort, I should believe in her. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone on the panelists. And I would say it could be a mistake for showing a raise up hand on my name, Sister Comfort.
Okay, then it would have been a mistake because your hand is raised. Marty, yours was raised. Oh, sorry. All right, sis, no problem at all. At least we're happy we heard your voice. That was something. Thank you. Marty, your hand was up as well. Okay, he's just put it down. So we are moving forward.
I do want to say something if I can. Okay, for everybody here, and pass this on to everybody. For the last few days, people have been trying to register. They put in their name, their email, their country, their telephone number. And then when they pay, the load bar goes across and goes boop, and then it goes back to the pay page again. So they go, wow, did I pay or didn't I pay? Well, if you go to your bank account, a lot of people seeing that they paid, but it didn't redirect to the next thing of go to your email, verify your account and all that. So if you're hearing this from anyone, which we're hearing it from a lot of people, send to me the email that was paid for. In other words,
Marty,
yeah.
sorry, please. We are actually live, and we this is a public webinar today. I don't know if we can say people should come back tomorrow. You've just started saying it. If I could.
Well, the only reason I brought it up is because the deadline is tonight, midnight.
All right.
Otherwise I wouldn't bring this up.
Okay.
I'll put the post in here. I gave it to Lynn. I think I put it in OTech Pros. Anyway, just give me that info by midnight. That's all. It's not a big deal.
It's all right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. But guys, make sure you attend the roundtable tomorrow and have all of these type of things sorted. Thank you so much, Marty. Thanks. Hello, Mifflin Butler. You are welcome. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
Did I just hear Marty said tonight is the deadline? Deadline for what? I have a founder to register.
He didn't. All right, he's right here. Let him speak.
Yeah. Never look. Forget I said it. Here's what's up. Go look at. I put posts everywhere. They're in OnPassive Nation. All the leaders have it. Read what it says. And
Okay.
if you give me, if I get the list today, I want to hand it to Ash by midnight. It'll be fixed by the round table tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I love you.
Thank you. We all love you, sis. Welcome. Thanks for coming, actually. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I'm here all the time. I just never speak.
Oh, no, nobody sleeps when they know what OnPassive is all about, right? Thank you, sis. So, guys, let's go back. Let's go back again. It was all about all domain. Guys, welcome whoever is joining us now. This is OnPassive Heroes, and we are discussing the hot topic of the week as we are rounding it up today, hopefully. And it was all about all domain. Is there anything that you went through all the webinars throughout the week and you did not understand? Ask the question now, and our great team is ready to help. While we wait for questions to come up, if I'm allowed, I would be asking one. I have heard the Tech Pro team, Ash, and the rest say a website resides on a domain. So given that we have more than 50 products in our ecosystem, does it mean that everywhere founder is going to have a domain to each product, given that we own all of the products, or is it that one domain is enough to do everything for one founder, please? Team. Okay, Andy, I can see your thumb up. I don't know why he's not on.
You've muted me again. Basically, the website encompasses everything. So it's not just one product; it's all of the products. And as OnPassive expands into bringing on other things, they will form part of the website too. So everything will be added in under one roof. Yeah, a bit like OnPassive.
All right.
Just to add to that, Sister Comfort, you want all the products in one website, because what that does is it creates SEO, search engine optimization, better than just having one domain name connected to each product. It's better to have everything in one website, because it pushes us up to the top of the search engines.
All right, thank you so much. I'm just so happy that, okay, bro, carry on, Bob.
Yes, and see our Sister Comfort. So the understanding is upon registration, when OnPassive opens to the public, right? Upon registration, each and every one of us, we create our domain, right? Now, that domain comes with everything. It's instant, it goes live. So all the products of OnPassive, those that are ready, they are going to be on that domain, including our domain, which is also a product. You see, and then like Tony says, when the search engine optimizations now pushes up fast, when people look for those products, the traffic that comes, it directs people to this actual our domain. The traffic will direct people there for the various things that are looking for, the various products that we have.
Let me just give you an example of SEO, Sister Comfort, just very quickly here. For example, if you click on www.onpassive.com on Google, you get 6.7 million people that look at that website on a monthly basis. The average time is 49 seconds. So if our websites are embedded with keywords, for example, say the keywords happen to be how to make money online. Bing, for example, is a search engine, but I think it's the third or fourth largest search engine in the world. There are 2.2 billion people looking for how to make money online on Bing alone, and that's not even Google or the other search engines. So if OnPassive puts us in front of billions of people on a monthly basis, guess what's going to happen? Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I'll leave that to your imagination.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks so much, bro. I really do. I do appreciate. So one of the things I heard the tech team say almost in everywhere they went to, because I was stalking them everywhere they went, they say domain name helps to establish your business. It helps to brand you. It helps to do all of those stuff. Given that it establishes your business or it brands you, right? These questions, some are mine, some are coming from our fellow founders. right? Many founders do not have any businesses, be it online or on any location. So what would they be doing with a domain name without business? And if they don't have business and they have a domain name, would they be missing out on something?
No, remember, you don't have to have any business to belong to be an OnPassivean, right? OnPassive brands you in the sense that you become, remember that we are founders, we are customers, and we are resellers. So by default, you are a reseller of OnPassive. So this domain that you create initially, the domain account that you create initially, that is how OnPassive begins to brand you. All these products come inside, are listed in that domain. And then as Mufareh does what he does best, he sends traffic, customers come to this domain. So you don't have to have any business to be part of OnPassive.
All right.
Let me add to that.
Okay.
This is your business. If you somebody like myself, I've never been a businessman in my life. I'm a 9-to-5. Don't have any business. But today I'm proud to say I am a multi business person, because I own a business, I own a domain, and I own a website. And not any kind of a website, not any kind of a business. A multi-million-dollar business, because we have multiple products, name it, unlimited, that will be running on my website and on my domain. If I have multiple of those accounts, let's say I have 5 accounts. I have 5 domain accounts, 5 different websites, a dynamic website. So yes, you own a business. You've never been a businessman like myself, but I'm a guru. I'm a business guru today through OnPassive and through our CEO, Mr. Mufareh.
Wow. Thank you so much. Sister Corina, it's like you want to ask.
Yes, I just was actually wondering about the domain name.
What's happening on the screen now? Hold on, sis. Are we being hacked?
Somebody did a screen share. So
Mr. Bhaskar Dutta.
Okay.
All right. Corina, it's your turn now, darling.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it.
So someone is trying to share a screen.
Out.
Hold on.
If you share your screen and you don't behave here, we are going to kick you out. Please behave. This is a business, and we have to respect the business. You do it again, you are out. You will never attend any founders only or guest webinar in OnPassive, because we'll chase you anywhere you go. Please behave.
Correct.
Thanks, Collins. Thank you, Comfort.
Oh, no,
can you have your domain name when Tony was saying, you push it up if you put them all in one? Can you put like your all accounts into one domain name, the same domain name for all 7, or no? It has to be.
Hold on, I'm really sorry. This is very distracting. Is there any way you can help, guys? This person needs to go now. I think so. We've had enough. There's just no time for this.
Tell me who it is. I can get rid of them in a second.
I can't see who they are, but I just hope that.
Just to comfort, I'll answer Kareem's question.
Yeah. Before you do that, let's take care of this issue.
Yeah, this issue needs to be taken care of, because the person
I believe Andy
becoming a
Burke.
nuisance.
Okay, so who was the person that knew who did the screen share?
That was Collins, I think.
Collins, who was it?
Someone read the name, but I would need to search. If they do it again, because I didn't think
somebody just said so and so is sharing the screen. Was that Andy? Somebody saw the person's name. Who was it here that saw the
Somebody
person
saw
screen shared?
and read the name.
The name that appeared at the top is Bhaskar Dutta. I don't know if it's the one who was sharing. His hand is up. Can he speak and tell us?
All right, hold on. All right, thank you so much. Bhaskar's hand is up. Let him wait for
yeah, I am calling from India. Actually, mistakenly press on that screen actually. So I am very much apology for this. Okay. So that is not intentionally actually. Okay. Thank you so much. And I have one question actually, because I want to ask something question. So for that reason, mistakenly that switch was wrongly pressed by me actually. So this is my this is my first webinar actually. I mean foreign webinar. So I want to know something regarding domain. So I want to raise my hand, but it was not working actually. For that reason, wrongly press some keys like whiteboards options. So I am very sorry for this actually, because I had no idea regarding this actually.
All right, thank you, thank you. So
So can I ask some question actually regarding domain?
Can you just hold on a minute, because somebody was already in the process of
Yeah,
asking a
sure,
question.
sure.
Yeah, just
Sure,
leave your hand
sure,
up if you
madam,
have a
sure.
question. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Sister Corinne, sorry about that. Do you want to repeat your question, or was it?
No worries. I think Tony's got it. Thank you so much, Sister Comfort.
Yes, we're going to have a domain name for each account that you have, Karina. You can't point all your accounts to one domain name. That doesn't work that way, because every account is its own individual business.
Yes. So what did you mean when you pushed it up to one to keep it all into one? I was a little confused about that. I was trying to follow you, but I didn't understand.
It's called SEO, search engine optimization. The more stuff you have in your website, for example, there's a lot of keywords like say you have more than one account. You have multiple keywords in all these accounts. And these keywords push you up to the top of the search engines. The more you click on them, the more people click on them, right? The more accounts you have, the better, because it's more websites that people get to see, right?
So individual domain names for all accounts, every single one. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. You're welcome.
All right, thank you. So Bhaskar, do you still have a question, please? I can see you've taken down your hand.
Yes, madam. Myself, Bhaskar Datta Chaudhary. I am calling from India. Actually, I have one question regarding domain. Actually, are there any validity on domain? Actually, like I mean, when we will get one domain, but are there any validity for domain, like 1 year, 2 year, or are we need to renew for this, or regarding domain actually?
Okay.
Hello.
Team, I leave it open. Who's ready?
Yeah.
Bhaskar, as a founder, when you create a domain, it's yours. You know, I don't think there's no end date for it, for your domain, your founding position domain. That's yours. I think to infinity. But the customers that will come to your website to purchase domains, there will be a renewal. I don't know, maybe a yearly renewal of that domain that they will pay yearly. But your domain, your OnPassive account domain for this founding position is infinite.
Remember, Bhaskar, what we do is we pay to activate our account. So once we've activated our account, and there are 3 customers within, the costs every month are then covered by the commissions that come in. So that you're constantly paying for the products that you're using anyway. It's not out of pocket. It's from the commissions that are coming in. So it's automatic from our point of view that it's renewed at the end of each year, because we're paying. It's just coming out of the commissions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that, Andy. You won't even see the money that's going to come out for your domain. It'll be so small, it won't matter. The amounts that you're going to be paying for. There's a question in the chat.
But keep in mind, domains are a subscription. They set it up for either 1 year, 2 years, or I believe 5 years. But like everybody said, when it's due, it'll come out of your profits. You're not even going to see it. If it wipes you out in a year, you're not in OnPassive. You've joined the wrong business. It'll be minute compared to what the money you'll have. But it is It is a subscription. And the beauty of that is the billion people that come in as customers and buy domains, that gives us a residual income, 1 out of hundreds. This is exactly what we want. You want it to be renewed so that somebody has to pay either every year, every 2 years. I know that GoDaddy, you can buy it 1 year, 2 years, or maybe 5 years. I'm not sure. The plus to that is you get a better deal. But as your domain becomes more popular and ranks higher on SEO, the value of it will go up. But that's a plus for you. It's a plus for the company. So it's not a problem. But yes, it is a subscription of some type, no doubt. But part of the package, it comes out of your profits.
Sister Comfort, there's a question in the chat there.
Say again, please. Yes. Okay. Let's hear from Andy first before we attend to the one on the chat, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Comfort. I had a question to the tech guys. Actually, we've discussed this search engine optimization, and Tony's mentioned it several times. So we have 1.3 million founders. Yep. And no one goes to the Google search engine the third page down. No one does it. You'll be lucky if you go to the second page. So how does the website get to the top of the search engine? Is it because it's on the rotator, Marty, or is it because it's constantly being changed? Or because you can't have 1.3 million websites at the top of the search engine all the time?
No, what will happen is when OnPassive is marketing for us, there's going to be one website there called OnPassive.com at the time. But our registrations will be in a rotator. So once they get on page 1, anything after the first one, if you're number 2, number 3, you're a multi-million-dollar company, flat out, because you got it organically. Number 1 spot is in yellow. Somebody paid a lot of money to be put there. They didn't want to be put there by waiting for SEO and all that. They actually paid for that position. And then what happens is, as things are going down the road and people come in and they click on your website, that's your domain. Now you're building you. But the company is not going to put in 1,300,000 different domain names while they're promoting. It's ridiculous. They're going to put one in, but the rotator to the registration there'll probably be many rotators, is when our name pops up, we're next on the list.
Right. So is that then sent? So it's OnPassive.com, and that's the promotion, and the rotator. That when that rotator comes in, I suppose that's then link 51, not our domain.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, cool. Now I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much. Is there a question in the chat, please?
Yes, Sister Comfort. Please, can my account email serve as my domain name? One of the tech guys can answer that. He's asking if his email account can serve as his domain name.
No.
Can his email account serve as his domain name?
Domain name.
I don't think so.
No.
No, I can't. You have to select a domain name.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was a straight to the point answer. We appreciate that. So let's hear from Akram from Bangladesh. Welcome, bro. I've just asked you to unmute.
Thank you. Thank you, Comfort. I need a guideline or suggestion from Marty about Bangladesh. Some of the founders or leaders, they have made the payment day before yesterday for the new foundership, and most of the payment have done but not get any NDA. So at this stage,
that's being worked on. Listen, I gave information to Mahfouz. Get the information from him and you'll see what's going on. They don't want to talk about that here. So This is an open webinar.
Okay,
But everything's being addressed. Okay, everything's being addressed.
Okay, I understand that. Okay. Maybe I will discuss with him, and then I think I will get the updated. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Yeah. So while we're waiting, if there's another question, I have another one here. I have equally heard you say your domain is your location. So based on this, does it mean, for example, that if my domain name, when somebody clicks on my domain name, would they see that I'm in the UK and maybe my name is Comfort, or what does that mean? Just, I know that you would have explained this, but go over it again for the benefit of others. And thank you for the better understanding.
Yeah, remember that they don't know who you are. The system don't know who you are. You know, so when they come to you, they know that is this website. And remember that all those products will go on your website reside on your domain account. So they recognize your website and your domain account. So they don't know if you are Comfort, if you are what. No, the system has been set up that way. They don't know anything about anybody. It goes with your domain account. Maddie, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that was perfect. Here's the thing. Keep in mind, you do not want 100,000 customers to know who you are personally, because it would be a nightmare, okay? But what happens is, it's just like a franchise like McDonald's. The Golden Arches, boom. Okay, everybody goes in, they know it's McDonald's, but they don't know who owns it, right? They don't contact the owner hardly ever, and that's okay, because you're building your brand, comfort.com, let's say, right? So you're building your brand, and that builds and builds and builds and builds, but you don't want, this is my home address and my phone number to my home, right? Because that would be something crazy like I would do, okay? No, but don't do that. You want to, because you want the company to do the support, you want them to do the backup, you want them to supply any information they need. As far as they know, you're the owner, but everything's being taken care of for you. So the customers really won't know you personally, which is fantastic. You do not want thousands and thousands of customers knowing who you are. Now, some will know if they're a reseller and you contact them and you're working with them because you have a strategy or you have a group you want them to, that's different. But most customers will come in and they have no idea who you are, and they don't need to. Not a problem.
All right, thank you so much, guys. This is a security, potential security. I heard, I think it was Brother Bob who said this. Say OnPassive is going to do everything possible, like to protect us online. So is there anything at all that as a founder I'm supposed to do to enhance our protection online, or do I just fold my arms and sit and let all be done for me when it comes to protecting myself online?
In terms of security, from OnPassive end, OnPassive will do everything to protect us, right? To protect all the founders and her products and everything that needs to be. But also, we also have some responsibility, as founders, to make sure we are on guard. We, the founders of OnPassive, are going to be prime targets for hackers. So I'm very convinced that at some point, we're going to have some kind of training and awareness programs for us on techniques on how to spot phishing attempts and other things, because these hackers are going to come. They could actually cause harm to OnPassive through you, Sister Comfort. They could come in. There are so many ways that they will disguise. They create what we call typo squad account. They'll create a fake website, something like an OnPassive website, which is not really an OnPassive website, and they'll come to you seeking additional information. And then when you fall prey, they have secret injection. There are so many ways that they could use to penetrate through us. So we have to be mindful of that, and also teach and train every single founder about that. But from the OnPassive side, what we know, what we've spoken with our founder of the behind the scenes, we are good. We are very good. We are well protected, but we should be very careful because we are targets.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Let me add something to what Bob said. If you think about this, most of the security problems online are because people did something they shouldn't have done. You're inviting somebody in to your home that you don't know and asking them, don't take anything, I'll see you later, right? They're gonna rob you blind. A lot of people get in trouble because they'll get an email like, I am some big outfit. Sounds legit. I can help you out. You looks like you're having a problem. Give me this information. They get that information. You gave them the key to your front door. It's that simple. And most people, that's where the problem comes in. Like Bob said, the OnPassive side of it is going to be Fort Knox.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to get in. I mean, if you can't, because remember, he has people that are paid to hack the company.
Yes.
Okay, he has people paid, try to break in. They have all the tools, they have everything they need to break in. If they find a way in, finds out how did you get it, it was through here, and they make that even stronger. Where the problem comes in, people are going to know we're in OnPassive, and they're going to say, hey, Marty DeGarmo, this is so-and-so of OnPassive. I work for the company. We're having trouble doing something in your back office. Could you give us access? And if Dodo Bird Marty gives them the access, it could be a bad day. So if you know what OnPassive does or doesn't do, you're safe. Like I see people say, well, they ask for money or they're selling Bitcoin. No, they're not. They never have. They never will. And as I've said at least 1 million times, I'll never ask you for any money, ever. I will not ask for your stuff. Ask cannot even go to your wallet. When that's set up, the company has nothing. They can't even get in. They can't see what you have. They can't adjust it. They can do nothing. Nothing. That's between you, your KYC, and you set it up with that merchant account, which is beautiful because they have no control over it. Where the problem comes in is human error, and somebody says, hey, I'm here to help you. And that's how people get burned most of the time. It's because you're volunteering info that you shouldn't. And listen, a very wise thing somebody told me. If you have to question it in your mind, it's no. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? I'm not giving this guy the information. Then ask around and you'll find out that most people say, oh, yeah, don't do that. But that's how people get in trouble.
Wow.
In addition to that, let me just give a pre-security procedure here. Please, if you are using your phone or your laptop, go get antivirus, security antivirus, because we'll be using our laptops and maybe phones to access our wallet. Go get a security antivirus. Don't go get anyone a security antivirus. It's a little bit expensive, but it's better. Secondly, do not click or read any emails that comes and say it's OnPassive, from OnPassive, what if it's not in the back office. When we launch, please don't click any website or don't click any link. If you want to be sure that it's from OnPassive, take your mouse to that link. You will see the numbers, no, that is fake. If you are not sure, do not click. Go to the back office. If there's any information in the back office about that, they'll put it in the back office for us to read, or they'll bring it on a round table and talk about it. Any emails that comes to you from, you say OnPassive, do not just delete. Just delete. Then go get a security anti-malware. Don't get any kind of malware, security anti-malware. Please, I just want to add that there so that we should be cautious about whatever, because now we are getting to the next phase that Mola is going to be part of it. Our wallet will be targeted. They're going to target us. There'll be those bad guys who will be coming with fake emails You know, remember that all our informations are now in various WhatsApp groups, messengers groups. Some people can be friends with some of them in Facebook, in Messenger, get your information from there. Like I've got a lot of text messages from WhatsApp. I don't even know them. From how do you call it? This other one. Telegram.
Yep.
I don't. They invite me to, is it Bitcoin or what? I just delete and I block. So we should be very, very careful as from now henceforth. Be very, very careful, because they can come through you, then come to OnPassive. I know if they come to us, they will not get us, because our firewalls are anti this thing. It's a robust. It has a robust defense system that will kick them out. But you as an individual, they can get your system ransom. And when they get your system ransom, be very careful. Just trash just trash your laptop. Don't even just go get a new one, because they'll start diverting all the molars that come to your wallet to their own wallet. Please, I'm begging people, should be very careful. Don't read any emails that come that is from OnPassive. Please, any emails like that, go to the back office to verify. Second, get a security malware. Thank you.
Wow. This sounds like we are OnPassive, we are unbeatable, we are unstoppable. That's just who we are. We are at the top. Thank you so much, bro. That was a great one. So let's hear, you just mentioned molars and stuff. I just want us to have an idea, right? Because there are times when it gets a bit technical, we're like, oh my God. So how much people, there are a lot of people here who have done businesses online, they've owned domain names and stuff. How much would an average business person spend on a domain name monthly? Now, how much would they pay or stuff like that? Guys, let's know the business people here.
Domain names cost anywhere from $9 to $14, unless you go and you can get it yearly or 2 years or 3 years. I'm not sure what the limit is. Unless you go out and you want a domain that somebody has and you can offer money, you go through a broker. There are domain names worth $35, $40 million. Here's why. They were branded. It goes back to that again. The value of the land, and your domain is the land in the internet arena. It's land. It's digital land, but it's land. And the more valuable it gets, the higher it gets in price. So it's kind of a plus for you. Not only are you making money from the company, but your value from your domain will increase yearly. It's a pretty cool thing. But
wow.
You can get I bought an AI domain. It was $125. They're more. They're not the most popular. Most popular is .com. I did AI because I believe in the next few years we're going to hear a lot more about AI, and it'll become more comfortable for people. But yeah, they're cheap. I bought the domain the top.live when we were doing all these events for $2.99 a year. Nothing, because nobody wants .live, but it went perfect for what I was using it for people to go to an event. So for that reason, it was great. But like I said, you're going to go in, you're going to ask for a domain that you want. And if it's available in the world, not just on domain, has to be available in the world. If it's available, you get it. Then you just forward it to whatever your link 51, and you're done.
All right, thank you. Thanks so much. This one goes directly to Brother Tony, because you said this at some point during the week, right? You said you have been online for about 25 years, but you have never seen anything like this. So what is that particular thing about OnPassive? We just want to relax. Let's just keep this, I don't know. Let us know, please.
Sure, Sister Comfort, thank you for directing that question to me. Yeah, I've been online for quite a long time, and I've never seen anything like this. What I mean by that is that any other company that I've ever been involved with, I'm promoting the company that I'm working for. I'm promoting them. It's usually what they do is they give you one web page, okay, and that's to promote pretty much the company, and you try to bring the traffic in to that one particular page, and thousands of people are using that same web page to promote the company. Now, OnPassive, we're not promoting OnPassive. OnPassive is going to be promoting us individually. So you will never make any good type of money on the internet unless you're branded. So you can't brand yourself when you're working, when you're promoting other companies, for example. You can do pretty well, but branding yourself will get you to that place that you want to get to a lot quicker, right? For example, say Tony Robbins was in some other company like an MLM company or what have you. Nobody would ever know of Tony Robbins, right? Maybe he would talk to some people in there and he would inspire a lot of people in the MLM company that he's with. But in order to reach a higher audience, he had to brand himself, right? So OnPassive is going to be branding us, and I've never seen anything like that ever in my life. That is the way that you're going to be successful in any way online, is to have some sort of a brand, and OnPassive is willing to do that, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Somebody says 100% correct. So thanks so much for making this known to us. So Akram, is that a question or a contribution, please? You may unmute yourself now.
Actually, I have question from our communities. Some of our communities, sometimes it's question to this opportunity. I cannot miss it. This I should question it. You know, 1.3 million our founders or more. So at this time, OnPassive will promote everyone, and everyone will be the success. We know very well. So, but you know that 1.3 million domain name individually, everyone will be. So as a SEO search engine optimization, there have a lot of page in the Google that will be scrolling 1.3 million. So in this case, how it will be possible? So everyone will get the traffic in the same day or in a week or in a month. So it's actually not clear that. So how it is actually possible? Please,
all right.
if you
we'll get your question. I would assume that you stepped out for a cup of coffee when this question was being asked and an answer was given for it. So do we just want to quickly go over that again, please?
Somebody to answer the question. Somebody just answer the question.
Yeah, what's going to happen, Akram, is our legs are going to be on a rotator. It's going to be rotating, but it's going to be rotating very quickly, a lot faster than you can blink your eye. Okay, so it's going to be on a rotator constantly. Sometimes you'll be at the top, other times you'll be on at the bottom, and it'll just keep on rotating. Yeah, one web page with your links on it, with everybody's domain on it.
All right, is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Yeah, because one of the things Marty said is there's only one name that people will find when they search is onpassive.com. When they get into the website now, whatever name is on the queue at that moment goes, and then the other one, and so on and so on. So nobody will be left behind. That is just it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, thanks. I just want to get to this. Auntie Lynn, you will say something, and then Andy will say something. I don't know if Marty is still, yeah, Marty is here, and who else? Maybe one other person. So we have gone through this week talking about old domain. At some point, it would seem like it's a bit too technical. Oh my God, what do I do? But then the tech team cannot go without using their jargon. So are we missing out on something? Are we obliged to understand everything they say, especially using those terms? And if not, what is the take home of all that we have heard? What is a necessary thing that founders should take home from old domain as we've learned throughout the week? Marty, you may go first, please.
Yeah. I know one thing. Ash doesn't want any founders to even worry about this at all. 0, 0, 0. The tech team were asked to break it down, but don't get all excited over any of this. When the company launches, there'll be a place there for domains. You go pick one that you like. There'll be instructions that my grandmother could follow, okay? You're going to do that. Now you have a domain. You redirected it. Now go get baskets to collect apples. You don't have to do anything else. A lot of this information is just information. It's entertaining information. Some people want to know. I've had people write me and say, I don't know why we need to know all this. We don't. Go fishing. Nobody told you need to know. But if you want to know, that's why. Breaking it down. Some people love to know the new stuff. But to think about it and worry about it, Ask definitely doesn't want that. He said, we do the heavy lifting. Nothing's going to blow up. It's just because it's new terminology for most people, they panic and say, wait a minute, I got to do what? URL what? Forwarding what? Cloak what? All right, they're lost. They're already jumping off the wall. Let it go. It's nothing. This is just information. I enjoy it because I mark it. Most people look at it and go, oh my God, I can't do it. You're not asked to do anything. When it's time, there'll be a 3-minute video. Here's how you pick a domain. You pick one. If it's not available, they'll say, hey, we don't have that, but what about this? And you go, no, I don't like that. Well, then pick another one. Pick another one. Okay, it's yours. Now you're going to forward your page onto that domain. How do I do it? Copy and paste and click a button. You're done. For the rest of your life, you're done. You're done. It's nothing. Right. So don't make it worse, because I understand it scares people, but none of this was for that. This was for the OTech pros are in there to keep making it as simple as they can, right? Because here's what we had for the last 3 or 4 months. Well, we had it longer than that, but mainly the last 5 months, let's say. Why is it taking so long? Well, when somebody asks, why is it taking so long? And then you break down the math to them and they go, well, I don't want to know all that. That's why it's taking so long. They're breaking down every part of every product for people that want to know. If it scares you, 1, don't ask me why it's taking so long. 2, if you want to know, the OTech guys are going to tell, the OTech pros are going to tell you. That's all. And remember, you don't have to do any more, any less than the day you joined. Get in, trust the system, trust Ask Mufareh, do the right thing, and you're going to be very, very successful. And the other thing you asked earlier about what's the difference between this company and any other company? 98% of the people in the world fail online. 98% of them, most of them lose money. This company, everyone, if you're in, you will win. Don't ask me how fast. Nobody knows that. But you will win. That's the difference between OnPassive and any other company in the world. It was designed and engineered from day one to take every founder as high as they can go. That's the difference. No more, no less. We will have the best products. There will be no one that can compete with us with value. We're going to have the best technology. We're going to have the best support. That equals success, and it equals baskets and baskets of apples. I'm not going to say money, but that's what it equals. That is the equal. Ash just did the equation different. He doesn't start off with money. He doesn't mention money. But if 1 and 1 is 2, and blank is money, we are blank and blank and blank and blank and blank and blank and money. We have hundreds of streams of income coming to all of us. Hundreds. And here's the thing, when there's 1 billion people and Ash goes in and invents a TV that folds up and you can put it in your pocket, okay? And 1 billion people buy it in one day.
All right.
Do the math. Do I need to tell you that's money? If I do, your brain's shot, right? You're already brain
Don't do
dead.
that. Don't do that to us, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's so much more involved. But the other thing, I saw a point, and Ash does too. He loves the tech guys. He said it. If he says any more about them, it's going to make me sick. Wow. But anyway, he said, I want to hear what they have to say, and I trust them. I trust everything they say. That's what he said the other night. And I talk to him all the time about the tech. What do you, and I went to him last week. I said, look, you got to get some homework to these guys. They're getting bored. He laughed. So he set up 3 things. They hammered the one this week. They got one for next week and the week after. But keep in mind, no matter what comes from these eggheads, you don't have to know any of it. They are breaking. I'm sorry to call you guys eggheads. That's a plus, by the way, because all your heads really do look like eggs, by the way. Anyway, but that what it does, it gives the chance for people to stop focusing on when and say, I understand why it's taken longer because look what we have. Then after all that, if you don't get it, give me your email. I'll get your money back.
Well,
that I can do in 24 hours. Guarantee that.
All right.
That's all I got.
Guys, I think it was a bad idea to bring Marty first because I feel like, oh my God, what has he done? Said everything. So, Angeline, do you still feel like adding something? At least a sweet angelic voice is always something.
It's going to be really short. I just thought of this. I was thinking about, you know how people say, when is things going to happen? So let's flip that and think instead, win. I think that's a better way to think. Thanks.
Thank you. Of course, OnPassive is just a matter of when and not if, right? I think that's what you're saying, in other words. So, Andy, please, it's yours.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to share this. I know in today's digital world, we need to have a website address that stands out from that of any other business. Your business is not simply competing with your niche. Your business website is competing with over a billion other websites on the internet. A brandable, meaningful domain name reflects the core competence and who you are along the way in promoting your business and establishing you as a credible authority in your niche. Now that for me is quite powerful, but the beauty of it is that in this instant, Ash does everything that we need it to do to cover all of those points in that sentence. Yeah. The other thing I found quite interesting that I looked up the other day was that the market is quite sizable for domain names, and GoDaddy is the largest contributor or producer, and they only contribute 13.06% of the total market. Yeah. You've got Namecheap, Tuco's, Google only has 1.37% of the market, Network Solutions, and it drops down to one called OVH, which I've never heard of before, that has 0.85% of the market. The other 75% of the market is taken up by other small companies. Just think if we take just 10% of the market, we're up with GoDaddy before we start, and our product is far superior to what GoDaddy can produce. So because using the AI technology, it's going to help you build or help people build their own websites. This is powerful stuff, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for the powerful contribution. Thank you. Let's hear from our beautiful Lori Lunn in the house. Welcome, sis.
Hi, everyone. I could not find the raise the hand button. It's like not there.
You raised your physical hand and we saw it.
It worked.
It's under reactions, under reactions.
Under reactions. Oh, well, I see reactions. Okay. I won't mess with it.
Reactions and you'll see the hand there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, I am so untechy, of course. And I was listening when Marty said, don't worry about the domain name, that it would be all done for you. You just choose one. I thought I had to go make up 14 domain names or something. And I was like, oh my goodness, what do I say? So I don't have to do that then, right? I mean, no, he says, okay. And also I have an email address because, I mean, I just learned how to set up emails when I got in to OnPassive, as I had just the one, and it has like 42,000 emails that I have not deleted. Do I need to go in and start deleting and get rid of some of those, or because some of them I just don't even touch, and the ones I know I do touch, but I had some email coming in that had all kinds of jibber jabberish numbers. I had punched on it before and it just circled and circled. And I went, oh, I don't like that. So I got out of it. And then I tried to send it to spam or something. I pushed the little dots and
if you don't know who it is, delete them.
I started deleting more emails, but I don't know how many emails your email thing can handle. I mean, should I go and start deleting 42,000 emails that I really don't need?
Are you talking about Gmail?
Yeah.
You could delete them all at one time.
Okay,
I still send them all an OnPassive founders opportunity.
No, I don't know some of them, but when I deleted all, it just deleted what was showing up. I guess I could go to my laptop and delete all then. And will that delete your ones that you saved for the very important ones or something?
Well, it'll delete whatever ones you tell it to delete.
Like if I went all, it just does everything then, right?
Yeah, it doesn't, yeah, it's gonna do them all.
Okay. If you click on all, then you go back again and unclick the ones that you find important and then delete the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only ones that I click on all are usually in my junk folder.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I know which ones are good and which ones aren't. The bad ones are separated, and every once in a while I just delete them all. If not, you have to, like I got to the point where I had to pay Google, Gmail. I had too much info. It wasn't that much. It was $1 a month, $1.99 or something. But I delete a lot. I deleted 70,000 not too long ago. So.
Can I just say something? Yes, that hand under reactions is clap. It doesn't stay for me, but that's the only one I have. I literally do not have a hand to raise. I just wanted to say I do know how this works, and I do not have a hand anywhere. The only hand I have is that clapping one that ran into reactions, and it doesn't stay. That's for.
Now, when you go to reaction, it actually says raise hand. It
does not.
No,
I do not have one at all. So I just wanted to say that I literally do not have one. So some people don't have one. I do know how.
It's all right. When you raise your natural hand on screen, we definitely see you, and that's more beautiful. Marty, did you raise your hand, or was this a mistake?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, look, keep in mind, in time to come, I don't know if it's 6 months or a year, the competition will be for second place because we will be number one. There will be nobody, the competition just won't be there. What are they going to do? We can make it cheaper? No, you can't. We can make it better? Nope, you can't. They'd have to redesign their whole company. So the competition will be for second place. And like Andy said, as far as domains, it's going up to 1,025 billion in 5 years. Yeah, if you own just a little bit of that, which we won't, because we don't own a little bit of anything, it'll be a lot. We're talking $1 trillion company eventually with OnPassive, where we'll be one fraction of 1%.
Wow.
I just wanted to add,
we'll be a grain of salt at the beach compared to the whole world.
Just wanted to add to what Marty's saying here. Like I said earlier, if you go to Google and put in the search engine www.onpassive.com, we haven't even launched yet, and we're getting 6.7 million people that are searching us right now, and they're on for 49 seconds. Okay, just imagine when we go into hard launch.
Yeah, and by the way, that number is a joke of what will be.
Wow.
What will be, that number's a joke.
Complete joke.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
All right. I think we are all saturated. We have it up to here now with all domain. I've seen many people say they now know the in and outs, ups and downs about all domain. And if you have not been able to watch or follow up on any webinar throughout the week, please go out there. There are a good number of YouTube channels that streamed all of the webinars, the discussions about all domain throughout the week, and listen to what the tech team has been saying, what the CEO himself has said, what our great leaders have said. Go back and watch this, get yourself ready, this is all you've got, this is your new life, you need to know what you are into because you live with it throughout. Thank you guys for coming, and I hand over to our sister.
Joycelyn.
Sister Joycelyn, forgive me.
That's all right. Thank you, Six. You did a very good job. Thank you very much. And thank you to all our LC leaders. Marty, thanks for coming. And thank you, Auntie Ling. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to our tech team. I got just something to say. If you are here and you are not yet a founder, let me share just 1 minute experience with you. I call myself a businesswoman. I will try any business that will come in my way if I can afford. But it got to a time that I decided no more, because all the business I've been, doing is those MLM business. You introduce someone before you get paid. So I had enough. So I decided no. You had the opportunity today to attend a webinar where we introduce some of our product to you. When a friend of mine told me about OnPassive, I didn't go to any guest webinar. I didn't even know anything about OnPassive. I only asked 2 questions. Do I need to recruit? She said, no. Do I need to sell any product online before I get paid? She said, no. And I said to her, you know what? Don't go any further. Send me the link and I will join. But then when I joined and had access to the back office, I always said, whoa, things I saw at the back, I am not IT person, but what I saw at the back office, it blows my mind. So I started inviting my family in. You have had the opportunity today for someone to invite you to listen to all this experience with our tech team, our leaders. You even listen to our CEO. So please, opportunity, they said, come but once. You may not have this opportunity again. Only God knows why we have waited for you up to now. Our CEO could have earned the founder's position some months back, but it's still on. This is the last opportunity for you. Don't go and sleep and said, had I know is always at last. This is the best time for you to make up your mind. I know all of us are not founders. We got guests in our midst. This is the best time for you to decide. Otherwise, you will start crying. While we're enjoying, please don't disturb us when we're enjoying our money. So this is the best time for you to join the family, the big family OnPassive that I joined and never regret it. I still learning. I'm learning every day. I thought I know everything, but this Dominion have just blown my mind off. I didn't even know I was going to have my own website. This is the opportunity for you. That's all I can tell you right now. And thank you everyone for coming. We are here back again next Sunday. So once again, thank you and have a wonderful week. Don't forget, founders, don't forget to join tomorrow's roundtable. Since today was a guest webinar, both founders and guests, we couldn't go through the back office and answer some of your questions. I know you all have some questions to ask. So join the roundtable tomorrow and then all questions will be answered. Thank you very much, everyone, and stay blessed. Have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.
At this time, we can unmute everybody, okay, Comfort?
Oh,
and
yes.
You can say bye-bye.
Why
All
not?
right.
Yeah.
See you at the top.
Bye.
You need to win it. You need to win it.
You need to win it. Guys, have a good
Ready for the
one.
greatest shape of life. Boy, unicorn, you are a star.
Bye, second vote.
Yes, bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.
You need to win it. Thank you, leaders.
Bye, Comfort.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
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 Thank you, everyone.
Bye.